The lifestyle coach, and it's so fun to see you here. What we are doing here is ending eating disorders using nothing but your brain, and we are talking about binge eating and bulimia and overeating and yo-yo dieting and food obsession and body hate and ending all of those things using nothing but your brain. So hello, welcome to another live feed. It's so fun to see you guys on today, and we are going to be talking about another really important point that this fantastic article brought up. So just wanted to cite the article. This is an article in the Huffington Post called Everything You Know About Obesity is Wrong. This is a part 2. So if you haven't listened to part 1, you don't have to, but if you want to, it's there. And this is the part 2 of that. So the title is Everything You Know About Obesity is Wrong, written by Michael Hobbs, and it has a lot of really good information and stats and science, and it's quite well done and speaks to something that is really important that we need to be speaking to. So today we're going to focus in on how healthcare is destroying our health and really the fat phobic society that we live in and how that impacts people of diverse sizes and them being able to get like important life-saving and life-improving healthcare without the prejudice of the society that we are in. And it's such an important thing to talk about. So if you guys have experience with this, I would love for you to pop in and, share your comments, share your questions. It's really fun to have you here. Hello, so fun to see you guys on. Feel free to just also say hello, just hearts and likes and say hello and let us know that you're here. And it's fun to be live with you guys. All right, so let's talk about it. So when we talk about healthcare and the issues with it, there are a lot of issues in healthcare, and I want to acknowledge that there are some really excellent health professionals that are educated in health at every size, that have done their own homework to see what the reality is and not just informed by the prejudice of society. There are health professionals that are doing good and great things in the world, and with pretty much anywhere that you go, there's going to be some people fighting the good fight and saying some good things. Overall, there are a lot of really deep-seated issues with healthcare, especially how they treat people of different sizes. And we're going to be talking about that today, but I'm not saying that those are the only kinds of health professionals that are out there. We have amazing health professionals that have come to us to end their struggles with food and are now taking that knowing into their practice and are doing great things in the world. So I want to absolutely acknowledge that. Now, there are a few different pieces here, and I'm going to read some excerpts from the article about healthcare. But, there is the issue with healthcare of just how little nutrition or just, education about food or body or what works at all that goes into becoming a medical professional. There's just very, very little training there. And we have a societal... Our society looks to doctors as these incredible authority figures, right? We look to health professionals as they know the answers to things, as they are right, as, if somebody has a white lab coat on, that we need to do what they say. And health professionals can give good advice and can give life-saving, medication and procedures, and that's all wonderful. But one issue is that the sort of authority that we look to healthcare professionals with can be very damaging when they're saying damaging things or giving horrible advice or talking about things that they're wildly uneducated about. And that's an important thing to look at as well. And then just the experience of the people of different sizes when they go and try to get medical help. And this is something that we see all the time. If you ask anyone about their experience in healthcare, especially somebody who is by societal standards larger or heavier on the, BMI, if we want to use that ridiculous measure, then they've most likely experienced multiple circumstances of being denied the healthcare that they needed, of being treated really horribly, living in a body that, like myself, that society does not consider overweight by a lot of people's standards. One thing that I hear a lot is the comments that are made about larger patients thinking that because I'm not one of those larger patients that I'm just going to like roll with it and be okay with it, which I'm totally not okay with. But it's messed up and it needs to be talked about and it needs to be changed. And that's why we're doing this live feed. So let's dive into the article a little bit. One thing they talk about in the article is just people's real experiences with this, right? So one thing that Michael Hobbs is saying in the article is you ask almost any fat person about their interactions with the healthcare system, and you'll hear a story, sometimes three, of rolled eyes, skeptical questions, treatments denied or delayed or revoked. Like doctors are supposed to be trusted authority, a patient's primary gateway to healing, but for fat people, they are a source of unique and persistent trauma. No matter what you go in for or how much you're hurting, the first thing you will be told is that it would all get better if you could just, put down the Cheetos. This happens so persistently all the time, you guys. So, stepping out of the article for a moment and commenting on this is an extremely common occurrence of it doesn't matter what you came in for, that we as a society have such a prejudice and completely unscientific and incorrect connection between health and size. So it doesn't matter what it is. It can literally be a rash, digestive issues, a broken arm, somebody who needs a surgery. Like somebody can come in with a completely unrelated health issue to their size. And because we have a prejudice in society, and because doctors are people that are influenced by society and the prejudice of society, then we have this link between health and weight. And to see somebody that is fat and to say they must be unhealthy or they must be making bad choices. And there is an incredible amount of blame that happens in society as a whole, but with health professionals as well, of if anything is happening with your health, if you are having any sort of negative experience, it is your fault because your weight is your fault. And so the answer to any ailment that is happening is to lose weight. And so people get denied for the very treatments that they need because it's like, well, go and lose some weight and then let's look and see if it's still an issue. It's this awful idea of your medical issues are only valid when you are thin because, oh, you're thin and thinness is associated with health. So you must be doing things right. So these health issues that are happening must be something else. Okay, here's the treatment. And so fat people get denied for the treatment they need all the time because of this prejudice. And it is incredibly traumatic. And it's an awful cycle because fat people get treated so badly in the healthcare system that they're, one, denied the treatment that they need a lot of times, but then also they're less likely to seek out healthcare because we are less likely to interact with people who treat us badly or who don't give us what we need or who are traumatic interactions. Like we tend to not go to those. So we also have fat people that are not seeking out the healthcare that they need because they know what that experience is going to be, because they've had the experience before of the walking in and knowing like, oh, we can all see what your real problem is. That is an awful way to feel, especially when it is so horribly incorrect. So the article made a really good point. So going back to the article, it's talking about that this phenomenon is not merely, just like people's experiences, right? In their individual stories. Like doctors have shorter appointments with fat patients. They show less emotional rapport in the minutes that they do have. And negative words like non-compliant, overindulgent, weak-willed pop up in their medical histories with higher frequency. In one study, researchers presented doctors with case histories of patients suffering from migraines. With everything else being equal, the doctors reported that the patients who were also classified as fat had a worse attitude and were less likely to follow their advice. And that's when they see like fat patients at all. So in 2011, the Sun Centennial polled OBGYNs in South Florida and discovered that 14% had barred all new patients weighing more than 200 pounds. So let's look at this. Think of how many layers of obstacles that somebody who is considered a fat patient has to go through, right? So they've had traumatic experiences, so they're less likely to seek out that care. If they do seek out that care, they are getting less time than people who are thin. And then with that time that they have, a lot of times they can't even get in to see a medical professional, or there are more obstacles for them because there's literally a prejudice against them even being able to be brought on as a patient. This is something that needs to change, that is just rampant in what's happening. And then it creates this increased stigma and prejudice, because it's like, okay, you take any person that is less likely to seek out medical help, that gets worse medical help and is denied medical help, and they might have more medical issues, or they might have more things that they are struggling with, and then it feeds right back into that same stereotype and prejudice. And so this association with thinness is health and fatness is all your fault and is an issue, like this is the cause of all of your health issues, is just undeniably really damaging to our world and our society and the people in it. Let's pop back to the article. Another thing that it's saying is the reason for medical professionals. So we've got like the prejudice of society, right? So we're, discussion again. So we have the societal prejudice and how that plays into it. But then we have the structure of the medical industry and healthcare literally advocating for discrimination and prejudice and hurting people this way, right? Because doctors, even if a doctor is a great educated, person who knows about these issues or has any sort of training in nutrition or, has any education about how wrong and messed up this is, there are so many obstacles for the health professional as well. So one thing the article talks about is the reason that so many physicians talk about weight and we have to do something about that, you need to be thinner, is because physicians are often required in writing to prove to hospital administrators and insurance providers that they have brought up their patient's weight and formulated a plan to bring it down, regardless of whether that patient came in with arthritis or a broken arm or a bad sunburn. Failing to do that could result in poor performance reviews, low ratings from insurance companies, and being denied reimbursement if they refer patients to specialized care. So in commentary now, we have all of these obstacles for health professionals, of even if they were somebody who wanted to be an advocate for a fat person or who wanted to treat their patients fairly, you have a fat patient that comes in with a broken arm and you are required and there are negative impacts for you if you don't. You are required to bring up their weight. So then you can see how this plays in. A fat person goes to the doctor and it doesn't matter for what. Their weight is brought up, and not only their weight, but how to bring it down. This reinforcement over and over of at all costs, you must be thinner. You must. That is the message that we get from every single angle, and that damages everyone, not just fat people. That damages everyone to have that message just hammered over and over and over into our minds by society. It just creates a lot of issues there. So you have a medical professional that has all of these obstacles up, and then you have this requirement, right? You have this requirement of you have to bring it up, but you're overall spending less time with this patient. So how on earth are you going to talk about that, right? Talk about what to actually do. It's just do this diet, look at the pamphlet on the way out. There's no time that medical professionals have to even talk about a solution. So it just turns into you're broken, you should go and fix it, without any sort of actual real support. And doctors don't have the education to support patients in changing their lifestyle or their nutrition or their health at all. So in fact, let's go back to the article. And one thing that they were saying, I'll read an excerpt here. It says, many of the financial and administrative structures doctors work within help reinforce this bad behavior. The problem starts in medical school, where according to a 2015 survey, students receive an average of just 19 hours of nutritional education over 4 years of instruction. And that's 5 hours fewer than they got in 2006. So it's literally going down and down. Like there's less and less like nutritional education that doctors even receive in their schooling compared to the very little that they used to. Now it's less and less and less. Then the trouble compounds once doctors get into daily practice. Primary care physicians, and we're back to the article now, primary care physicians only get 15 minutes for each appointment, barely enough time to ask patients what they ate today, much less during all the years leading up to it. And a more empathic approach to treatment simply doesn't pay. While procedures like blood tests and CT scans command reimbursement rates from hundreds to thousands of dollars, doctors receive as little as $24 to provide a session of diet and nutrition counseling. So let's look at that for a minute. And yeah, Bridget, thank you. Bridget saying truth. So somebody goes in, and this is commentary now. So somebody goes in to seek help, let's say. Let's say that you are going to a doctor explicitly for help with your weight, okay? Let's say you've bought into this societal idea of weight is associated with health, and so you feel broken and there's something wrong with you, and whether you are binge eating or not, whether you're somebody just like living in a larger body, you go into the doctor, and we see the doctor as this medical professional with a lab coat, and they're going to say what is right, and they're going to give us advice that is correct. And then think of it from the medical professional's stance, right? That medical professional, if they sit down and talk to you about a lifestyle change, they're going to make $24, right? $24, like compared to if they're like, oh, problems with weight, go and get gastric bypass surgery. So if we're thinking about not even the morality of like what a medical professional really believes, there is a limited amount of time. They have 15 minutes with you. 15 minutes isn't enough time, and probably even less if you're a fat person, isn't enough time to give any true help or advice. And they'll get paid way, way little for if they give you any sort of lifestyle advice, but they can say, go and get gastric bypass surgery, and they can be reimbursed probably thousands and thousands of dollars. What answer are they going to be very most incentivized to give to you? Especially when they have almost zero training on what's going to be beneficial long-term for you. So just handing out these slips of like, go and get the surgery, and like people will make their own choices, right? But we are highly influenced by people in white coats that are there as a medical professional. And again, there are some health professionals where this is different, but they're really going to have to fight upstream if they want to be different. Most of the time, there's such an incentive to just do the thing that is going to reimburse them the most and be able to give you something in 15 minutes. Here's another thing that I want to bring up that a lot of medical professionals do. So it's maybe $24 to counsel you on nutrition, and they only have 15 minutes with you, so that doesn't really make sense. But you came there for weight loss, right? So a doctor, as a business, they have an incentive to have something that you do for weight loss that is going to put more money into their pocket. Being a doctor isn't super fun in a lot of ways. You're in tons of medical debt. You don't have the time that you need to make like a big difference with patients. You're literally seeing people for 15 minutes or less and just getting as many people through the office as possible. And with how insurance goes and your student loans and all of that, like then a lot of times doctors are having a hard time. I mean, yes, they make more than a lot of people, but they're still needing to find ways that they can make more money with what they're working with. So they have weight loss like weight loss programs or weight loss pills or whatever it is. Like there are so many health professionals out there that are offering, because they get a kickback, they make money off of it, a weight loss program through their office. And yes, people are more likely to do that because it's connected with the authority of being a health professional. I've known health professionals that are literally making more than $10,000, $20,000 extra a month by just putting all of their patients on whatever weight loss program, and just explicitly, horribly dangerous sorts of things. Remember when HCG was the big craze, right? It's just like really dangerous things, like pills that are the same as like amphetamines, like speed, right? We've had so many clients that their mothers took them to the doctor when they were 10 years old because they thought their daughters were getting fat, and their mothers were terrified of being fat because of the society that we live in. So when their daughters are going through puberty, which it totally makes sense for a girl who is getting to be that 10, 12-year-old age to start getting more curves, their mothers freak out because they live in a society that associates fatness or any sort of curves or any sort of change in your body that is becoming bigger with just hugely negative things. So what do? They take their daughters to the doctor, and they ask the doctor, who has almost zero training on any sort of lifestyle and nutrition changes, and they ask the doctor what are they going to do to help their daughter who is 10 years old to lose weight, and the doctor puts them on speed. Doctor puts them on phentermine. Doctor puts them on the sorts of things that we have had clients that have long-term permanent heart damage because their first diet pills were prescribed by the doctor that their mother took them to when they were 10 years old. It is. Christine is saying it's messed up. That is absolutely true. And it is important that we educate ourselves on this so that we can see what is happening and we can make a better world. And we're going to talk about how to do that as well. But this is so important to understand, you guys, that health professionals just have layers and layers and layers of incentive to promote things to lose weight. And they are de-incentivized to ever have a patient go by that they don't mention their weight and how to be smaller. And then there's all of this prejudice in our society that makes it really difficult for fat people and other people as well. But like there's some really specific, awful prejudices that go into fat patients having less time, not being paid attention to. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring up is even being able to get the health care. So we have worked with so many people that literally are not able to get health insurance because of where they land on the BMI. And they can be perfectly healthy. But it is just because of the ratio of their height and their weight that they're not even able to get health insurance. I know that, people all over the world watch our videos and we coach people from all over the world, but I'm most familiar with the healthcare system in the United States. And you can go for a simple procedure without health insurance, and you can be in hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical debt for the rest of your life. But there are so many people that cannot get medical insurance because of the awful prejudice that is woven into our healthcare system. So it is so important to be educated, to advocate for ourselves. I want to give you guys some examples of how to make change, because with Life with Lydia, we think it's important for you guys to be educated on this and have good information, but it's also important that you guys know how to take action, right? Because just saying what's wrong with the world, yeah, you can be like, that's messed up and it's a good thing to be educated about, but like, okay, what do we do about it? What do we do about it? Because I know that you guys are here because you're action takers, right? Like you're here and part of this community because you want change in your life. If you were just okay with having an eating disorder for the rest of your life, or being treated this way for the rest of your life, or feeling like you have no worth for the rest of your life, then you wouldn't be here. You would just be accepting that and rocking away. But you're here because you want that change and you are action takers. So what we coach people to do, and what's so important, I want to give you guys some examples about this, is that changing healthcare needs to happen. The way that we educate our doctors, the way that we think about fat people in our society, the way that what is incentivized and, de-incentivized, disincentivized, decentivized, the opposite of incentivized. Like that all needs to change. But that is going to change slower than individual people. Because waiting for society to change It's going to take a while. Yes, it is a worthy cause. We are all part of that. It's important. But if you wait for society to change, then it's just going to take a lot longer than if the change starts with you. And that's how we change society, is it starts with individuals. So I want to give you guys some examples of this. So some things that we've coached our clients on in just the last little while is, one, advocating for themselves, being able to stand up for themselves in a health professional setting where they're able to know what their right is, where they're able to see their doctor for who they are. It is somebody that they can hire and somebody that they can fire. And really the tools and how to advocate for themselves. We coach our clients on how to set boundaries, how to make great choices, and how to teach people how to treat them. We coach our clients on how to speak up for themselves, on how to be assertive and confident in what they know and what they deserve, and really have a voice around that, and to take up space and to have volume and to really be able to speak up for themselves. And to step into that worthiness of that they are worthy of being cared for. They are worthy of being treated well. They are worthy of having care that is going to result in the outcome that they want. They are worthy that if they go in to have a rash looked at, that they are worthy of not having the 15 or the 10 minutes that they have with the doctor be taken up by, well, it looks like you're fat. Here's a thing that you should do to change that. That's not what you came there for. That's not what you are paying the doctor to do for you. And how to not believe something just because it comes from an authority figure. Like, yes, we show people how to end eating disorders and have absolute permanent change and freedom. But part of that is stepping into your power and your knowing. And it is so fun to see our clients every single day celebrating, standing up for themselves and knowing what they're worth and being educated so that they aren't buying into this. So they don't go to the doctor with their heart beating in a way that they are worried about, and going into the doctor and the doctor saying like, oh, well, it's probably just that you need to lose 50 pounds. And for them to believe that and be like, oh, okay, I guess you can tell from just looking at me that the only thing wrong with my heart is that I need to do and take the pill that you're selling at the front counter. Like, for them to be able to not believe what society tells them or something that just comes from an authority figure, for them to make strong choices for themselves because they are empowered to do that. And I really want to celebrate that we have a lot of health professionals that come to us because there are so many health professionals in this world that struggle with their own relationship with food and are buying into these same things. And I really want to celebrate the hundreds and hundreds of people that we have freed from this issue, including so many psychologists, so many psychiatrists with our PhDs in eating disorders. We have coached so many doctors and nurses, pediatricians and cardiologists, and I'm just thinking of all of our incredible health professionals that they come to us because they know their way isn't working and they have no training on how to change their relationship with food, and they have so many people coming to them for advice, and they feel like a hypocrite because they're like, I have no idea what to do. Like, I'm struggling probably even more than you are. And I want to celebrate so many of our health professionals that have come to us and now get to enjoy that freedom and are paying it forward and passing it on. Just a shout out to, man, I'm thinking of two incredible health professionals that we are coaching right now. You know, one of them is a pediatrician, and she has completely changed the way that she talks to children and their parents about their weight. She's just such an incredible advocate. I'm thinking of another health professional who she is just like created such an incredible like freedom for herself, of course, so she can be such an amazing example, but she's just has a level of realness and vulnerability where her patients like thank her for, after all of the trauma that they've received from other interactions with health professionals, that like she gets it and she's willing to listen and understand and make a difference in the world. And I want to just acknowledge that what these incredible health professionals are doing is a brave thing to do, because just like the article was citing, like, you know what? They might not be as favored by insurance agencies, and they might even risk having a negative review because they're not putting little kids on diet pills because they are telling parents about how what our society does actually creates eating disorders, and here's how to turn that around and be a good influence on your children. Like, those are brave things because we have a system that puts obstacles up and even threats on health professionals that choose to do something better. And I'm just super, super proud, super proud of all of our incredible health professionals that have come to us and now are paying that forward with their freedom because they know better now. Because they know better now. Because they fix this for themselves. They can, with full integrity, know that they have a peaceful relationship with food, know that they're not out of control with food, know that they're not binging anymore, know that the dangers of all of the sorts of things that maybe they would have prescribed to patients before, and now they're getting to do something new and do something different. And it's a really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And I just want to congratulate all of you guys. So what this really comes down to is that the change that needs to happen in the healthcare system starts with the people individually in our society. And that starts with you getting free in your freedom. When you are in your freedom and your worth, and you know that the medical issues that you are experiencing don't have to do with your weight and don't have to do with your binge eating, because you're not binge eating anymore, and because you are at your set point weight that your body wants to be, then you can know, like, oh, okay, this rash is something else, and I'm not having to blame myself for everything because I'm finally out of these destructive patterns. And knowing how to advocate for yourself, like, that is really where it starts. And can you imagine having millions and millions of women around the world being in that place where they are completely free from the struggle with food? They're not blaming themselves anymore or hurting themselves anymore. And when things come up, they can go and advocate for the care that they need from a medical professional and stand up for themselves. Like, that's what we need. And it starts with the individual. So if you are on that path where you are sick and tired of this relationship with food hurting you, and you want to get to not only a healthier place, but where you actually know what health is and how to advocate for your health, then the first step is a free breakthrough session. You go to lifewithlydia.com/apply. Again, that's lifewithlydia.com/apply. And you can book a free breakthrough session with us. And we are going to get you the foundation of freedom. We're going to work with you one-on-one to get the foundation of freedom of looking at what's happening with food right now and how it's impacting you, and then really what you want on the other side of this and what freedom means for you. And if we can close that gap and get you to the place where you are done and free, we will show you how. And if not, then that's good information as well, and we'll know where to best direct you from there. But either way, you're going to have that foundation of freedom. You deserve that. You deserve that session. You deserve that time. You deserve options in your life. And you deserve to get advice from somebody who actually knows how to fix the problem, and not somebody who is untrained and has no training and just is looked to as an authority figure. Like, yes, we have an incredibly educated and intelligent and wonderful team, but we don't put that in the forefront of why you should work with us. We say, yeah, you should work with us because we know how to fix the problem. And we have a track record of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that we've helped. Because the lab coat or the degree, if they don't fix the problem, then the problem doesn't get fixed. What we really know is that people are smart and they want the problem fixed and they want to do what works. And we know exactly how to fix this problem and have that freedom for the rest of your life. So fun to see you guys here. Thank you for your beautiful, beautiful comments, sending all of the love. And again, it's lifewithlydia.com/apply to book a free breakthrough session with us. And we will go ahead and sign off. So this is Lydia, the Lifestyle Coach. Bye, guys. Mwah.